Wayne Rothbaum isn't a household name. He doesn't speak at conferences, rarely appears in media, and for years no public photo of him even existed. But behind the scenes, he's one of the most successful and secretive investors in the history of biotech. A man who built billion-dollar drug companies not by chance, but by betting big, early, and often. This is the story of Wayne Rothbaum, the quiet force behind two of the most important cancer drugs of our time, and the secret billionaire who made it all happen. Wayne Rothbaum was born in 1968 and raised in Smithtown, Long Island, a modest, working-class town in New York. His father co-owned a small security business, but the family faced financial struggles. When a business partner diluted his father's stake in the company, it left a lasting impression. Rothbaum saw firsthand what it meant to be taken advantage of and decided early on he'd never let it happen to him. In school, Rothbaum was ambitious. He played sports, studied hard, and set his sights high. He enrolled at Binghamton University intending to pursue medicine, but later pivoted to political science and psychology. He graduated Phi Beta Kappa, then went on to earn a master's degree in international affairs from George Washington University. For a brief moment, he even considered joining the CIA, but one look at the drab reality of the job convinced him otherwise. With his academic journey behind him, Rothbaum set his sights on a new target: Wall Street. In the early 1990s, Rothbaum made his way into finance. He landed a job at the Carson Group, a small consulting firm in Manhattan that advised biotech companies and investors. Despite having no formal science background, Rothbaum immersed himself in biology, molecular medicine, and the business of clinical trials. He quickly built a reputation for his tireless work ethic and sharp mind. Eventually, he helped launch the firm's investment banking division. He wasn't just consulting anymore. He was advising on real deals, structuring financings, and guiding biotech startups through the maze of Wall Street. When the Carson Group was sold to Thomson Corporation in 2001, Rothbaum walked away with enough capital to make his next move. But this time, he wouldn't be the advisor. He'd be the investor. He used the proceeds to start his own fund, Quogue Capital, named after the quiet Hamptons town where he owned a summer home. But Quogue Capital wasn't your typical hedge fund. Rothbaum refused to take outside investors. It was a single-family office, just his money, his bets, his rules. That gave him a rare kind of freedom. He didn't answer to clients. He didn't have to diversify or hedge. He could go all in, and often did. His philosophy was simple: conviction. If you believe in a drug, a company, or a trial, you go for it. You don't wait for consensus, you act. This approach would soon define his career. Wayne Rothbaum didn't believe in diversification. He believed in conviction, in going all in when the data whispered something others couldn't hear. In 2009, that whisper came from a company called PharmacyClicks, a struggling biotech in California. Its lead drug, ibrutinib, was a BTK inhibitor being tested for blood cancers. Most investors ignored it. The company was underfunded and its pipeline looked weak. But Rothbaum saw something different. That year, at a medical conference, the company presented early clinical data on a poster board, not a keynote, just a small trial update. But what it showed was stunning. 5 out of 6 patients with chronic lymphocytic leukemia had responded to the drug. For Rothbaum, that was enough. He began buying shares immediately, calling brokers, placing orders himself, moving fast. He wasn't alone. Sven Borho of OrbiMed had also seen the signal. The stock jumped nearly 20% that day on a surge of unexpected volume. Rothbaum ended up with over 1 million shares. Over the next few years, the drug, now branded Imbruvica, became one of the most important oncology therapies of its generation. In 2015, AbbVie acquired PharmacyClicks for $21 billion. But Rothbaum had exited too early. He made millions, but if he'd held through the buyout, he would have made $700 million more. It became known as the worst trade of his life. Yet it was also a turning point. It sparked a deeper obsession to not just pick the next winner, but to build it, own it, and control the outcome from day one. The next time, he wouldn't just ride the wave. He'd be the one creating it. So, in 2012, he helped co-found a new company, Acerta Pharma. This time, he he wasn't coming in late. He was building from the ground up. Acerta's mission was clear: develop acalabrutinib, a next-generation BTK inhibitor that could improve on what Imbruvica had started. Rothbaum saw the drug's potential early, and he knew exactly what to do. He took the role of executive chairman and became its largest investor. He brought in trusted scientists, he licensed the molecule from a European pharma company, and he applied pressure relentlessly. At Acerta, Rothbaum was everywhere. He sent dozens of emails a day, he called leadership at all hours, he micromanaged trial design, clinical development, even personnel decisions. Some employees muted their phones and kept working while he ranted on, a mix of fear, respect, and exhaustion. At one point, he brought in a former PharmacyClick's employee to help, then grew paranoid she was a spy from the old company. The suspicion was unfounded, but it revealed something deeper. Rothbaum was playing to win, and he would not be outmaneuvered again. By 2015, Acerta's trial data was validating his vision. The drug showed impressive safety and efficacy in mantle cell lymphoma and other cancers. Big Pharma came knocking. In early 2016, AstraZeneca acquired 55% of Acerta for $4 billion, with a deal to buy the rest later for another $2.5 billion. This time, Rothbaum didn't miss the upside. He kept his stake and rode it to full value. Acalabrutinib, later branded Calquence, went on to receive FDA approval. It gave patients a vital alternative to Imbruvica and cemented Acerta as a major biotech win. For Rothbaum, it was more than just redemption. It was a lesson turned into leverage, proof that betting big works best when you own the table. With Acerta sold and his biotech credibility cemented, Wayne Rothbaum could have walked away. He didn't. Instead, he doubled down. He had the capital, he had the playbook. In 2016, Rothbaum launched Cardos Therapeutics, building it around a promising molecule acquired from Amgen. The drug targeted MDM2, a protein that often disables the tumor suppressor gene p53, sometimes called the guardian of the genome. The idea? Reactivate p53 in cancer cells where it still functioned genetically, but had been silenced biologically. He became executive chairman again. Not just an investor, a builder, a force, a decision-maker. He oversaw development closely, drawing from everything he'd learned during the Acerta sprint. Then came Telios Pharma. Founded in 2019, it focused on blood cancers and inflammatory diseases. Rothbaum licensed a novel compound from Merck Co., one the German giant had shelved. He saw potential where they didn't, as usual. Again, he installed himself as executive chairman. He steered the company with precision, quietly, aggressively, the same conviction, the same pressure, the same tempo. But he didn't just build from scratch. He also fixed what others had broken. Enter Iovance Biotherapeutics, IOA, a public company developing TIL therapies, or tumor-infiltrating lymphocytes, for treating solid tumors. Rothbaum began buying shares, quietly at first, then forcefully. When the science looked sound, but the company's leadership faltered, he stepped in. He helped reorganize the board, brought in new management, realigned the clinical focus. It was precision engineering, resuscitation. Rothbaum became the company's largest shareholder, quietly pulling levers, watching trials, calculating endpoints, guiding molecules and money through a maze of doubt, data, and decision-making. Behind the curtain, Rothbaum was still dancing, always 5 steps ahead. As of this video, Iovance is at a 5-year low stock price, looking prime for a rebound. In an industry obsessed with panels, LinkedIn posts, and media buzz, Rothbaum operates in near total silence. He doesn't speak at biotech conferences. He doesn't give interviews. And yet, his fingerprints are everywhere, behind billion-dollar companies, behind pivotal drug trials, behind the lives of patients who will never know his name. This is a man who moves markets and prefers to leave no trace. Those who've worked with him describe an intensity that's hard to put into words. Calls, texts, emails, morning, night, nonstop. Ending a conversation with Rothbaum can feel like trying to end gravity. He sees patterns in clinical data that others overlook. He connects dots across oncology, molecular biology, capital markets, and corporate strategy. And yet, for all his intensity, Rothbaum is also loyal when you prove yourself. Those who execute earn his trust. Those who don't disappear. Outside of biotech, The world got a fleeting look at him when he tried to buy two Major League Baseball teams. In 2017, he backed a bid for the Miami Marlins. A few years later, he joined a group led by Alex Rodriguez and Jennifer Lopez to acquire the New York Mets. When that deal fell through, Rothbaum prepared a solo $1 billion bid. Quiet, efficient, like always. But billionaire Steve Cohen outbid him. After that, Rothbaum vanished from headlines, right back into the shadows. Today, he lives in Florida with his family. His estimated net worth is in the billions, but you won't find his name on red carpets, Forbes covers, or social media. You'll find it buried in S-1 filings, in clinical data, in patents, in FDA approvals, and most of all, in the molecules that changed lives. Wayne Rothbaum didn't need to become famous. He became something rarer, indispensable, and invisible.